Hi, I'm Dr. Tash. Thank you for joining me today for Dr. Tash TV. Today's episode is a special episode as I'll be interviewing one of my favourite patients, Emma Grant-Williams. Emma is going to be talking to us about the power of intuition and how intuition and perseverance helped save her life. So here I am with Emma, and as you can see, we're both wearing red, and that's probably to symbolise the fact that she has her own podcast out, the Red Shoes Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we in red?
We're in red because, I don't know, when I was 18, I fell in love with red shoes, and so they became this symbol for determination, I think, independence. I was in Paris with my mum and found this pair of red Mary Janes, and I counted out all my euros or francs, whatever they were, paid for this pair of shoes, and I was like, I felt so, I don't know, grown up being in Paris on the other side of the world. And then, so they were, every time I wore them, people would say, oh, you're going to the end of the rainbow, Dorothy, you know, it was a kind of thing. So anyway, I kept wearing those. And then a couple of things happened. Mum went through breast cancer in 1998, and that was pretty tough, but she kind of protected us from what was going on. She had a lumpectomy, radiation. And then a couple of years later, I had my own lump removed, which was benign. But when I came out of surgery...
Was that a breast lump?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On the same side that she'd had cancer as well. And I think because it had been there for ages and I'd been told it was fine, but because she had been told hers was fine, she'd actually, our GP at the time had said to her, I guarantee you it's just stress, it's all in your mind. Like, he actually said those words to her. She pushed for a second opinion, turned out it was cancer, they got it early, they treated it. So I think that was in the back of my mind, so I wanted it out. The
whole thing about second opinion is pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to seek second opinions, I say.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that she had her own opinion too. It was a third opinion, which was what she really listened to.
Yeah.
And so, she was there with me in recovery, and when I woke up, I said to her, Mum, I've seen this really cool pair of red sneakers. Can we buy them on the way home? And she was like...
How old were you then?
I was 21. And she said, Emma, I'm not taking you shopping straight out of hospital. I was like, yeah, but they're really, really good and they're only $19 on sale. Anyway, she said, all right, if we get a park on the street, because it's in the middle of Melbourne, we'll stop and you can get them. Anyway, she's now double parked on this street in the middle of Melbourne. I run in, buy this pair of red sneakers, and she was like, don't you tell anyone that I've taken you shopping straight out of surgery, out of recovery. And so that was kind of it. And then we jumped forward to 2008. Breast cancer's come back for her. This time it's worse. It's mastectomy, it's chemo, it's in the lymph nodes. So I travelled down to Melbourne, and after we've seen the surgeon, I'm there with Mum and Dad. The next thing we do is we go out to this shop, factory outlet, we find these 2 pairs of red shoes, platform, peep toe, red patent leather, and they're on sale.
Red patent leather.
Exactly. And we bought them. They did, you know, it was just like, all this shit's going down, and we've got to do something to rally, you know, to bring that passion.
How many pair of red shoes do you own?
I've got so many now. Around 2012 maybe. Things were going wrong with my body. Like, there were lots of little things that didn't quite add up, and I had really bad hormonal acne, which I'd never had growing up, and suddenly it was just there. And there were a few things that were going on, but then as I was falling asleep at night, I kept hearing endocrinologist over and over and over in my mind. It was like endocrinologist, and I...
What's an endocrinologist?
Well, exactly, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
A hormone doctor, pretty much.
Right.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I heard the word, but I'd never seen one. I didn't even know what they did. And then I thought, because of Mum's experiences, and, you know, she's Irish, so we've got that kind of in our waters, I think. And I thought, I need to just say this to the doctor, get it checked out. So I made an appointment with the GP and said, I know it sounds really weird, but this is what I'm hearing. Can I get this checked out? And she herself had been through breast cancer. So she didn't kind of scoff at me straight away, which is what I thought was going to happen. But she said, we'll do a blood test, and if anything's abnormal, we'll send you. Did the blood test, a few things came back slightly out, and she never sent me. And then over the years, it was sending me to a dermatologist for the acne, which cleared up the acne, but then got all this pigment on my face, and I just felt like that's masking whatever's going on. If the hormones can fix it, then there's something underneath that needs to be addressed. And it went on and on. And at one point, I was saying to her, I'm really struggling, and then her answer was antidepressants, which has a place, but that wasn't what was right for me. Yeah. And so eventually I thought, right, enough's enough. There were a few things that happened. I gained like 5 kilos in a month, which is really unusual for me. I couldn't regulate my temperature very well. Like I'd be really, really cold, really sensitive to cold, and then get really hot.
These are all thyroid symptoms, everyone out there?
Which I didn't know.
Yeah.
But my thyroid hormones were pretty much normal. That was the thing. I think that's why they were like, it wasn't showing up on a blood test. Anyway, so I decided enough was enough, and I Googled holistic endocrinologist because I thought I want someone that is going to be aware of that mind-body connection and will honour the entire person, not just the blood tests or the segment you
We're
have.
more than just numbers, aren't we?
It's so much more.
Yeah.
And I think now, like finding doctors like you, and who I eventually found, Sophie, that's where I think it's got to go. So yes, came across Sophie's name, and I was like, that's who I need to see. Made an appointment, went to see her, and as soon as I walked into the office, I just felt like there were affirmation cards on the desk, there was beautiful photos, I just felt like it was the right place. And I told her what had been going on, and the first thing she did was to feel my thyroid. And she asked me to swallow, she asked me to tilt my head back, and she said, it's inflamed, like it's swollen, so we need to get an ultrasound. So I did that, a couple of little lumps on the ultrasound. One was over 1 centimetre, which is normally when they would biopsy it, but she said because the others are quite small, we'll leave it for 3-4 months. So I went back 3 months later. She said, no, we'll leave it for 12 months. And I went, no, I really want to get this checked out. And in that time, they'd grown quite a bit. So 3 or 4 mils, which apparently was quite quick for these lumps, little nodules to grow. And did the biopsy, and it came back atypical. So you can be like one of 5 categories, and one is absolutely fine, one's definitely cancer, and I'm in like this weird stage 3 where it's weird, but they don't know what it is.
Kind of the grey zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
then the answer is to do the biopsy again 6 weeks later, and I was just like, no, I want it out. So I met with a surgeon who was great. He didn't scare me. He was just.
So you insisted that happened?
Yeah. So because Sophie was following protocol, which was she said to me we'd normally repeat it, the biopsy, but the chances are you're going to get a similar result. And she said normally with nodules on the thyroid it's a 5% chance of cancer, but with your result it goes up to about 30%. So it's still 70% fine, but 30% is a lot for me. And so I was just.
So you had the surgery?
Yeah, but even then, like I didn't really get it. Like I saw the surgeon, and he was like, look, it's just a bit irregular. And he said what we can probably do is take out the right side, because the left side didn't have any lumps. So he was like, it could just be a weird little anomaly. We take this out, the left side gets a bit bigger, sort of compensates, and then you go back to normal.
The human body's amazing. I think it's amazing how that happens.
That your body can just, I know.
Yeah.
So we scheduled surgery, but it wasn't really a rush. It was kind of like, oh, I'll wait till the end of January. In-laws are going. Like I wasn't really thinking it's cancer. I was thinking there's this weird thing I've got to deal with. And then, did the surgery. He came round. He said, it all went well. We took out the right side, took out a lymph node as well, and suddenly my ears pricked up.
Because you thought lymph node, something's going on.
Well, when Mum had breast cancer the second time, it was in the lymph nodes. So when I thought, okay, like if you're taking this out, there's something not right. Yeah. And I said that to him. I went, that doesn't sound good. And he just kept on talking, and I didn't know if he didn't hear me or just, he said, we're getting results on Wednesday. I'll see you then. Just rest, And then, went in to see him on Wednesday. And I remember Mum, Dad, my partner and I all in the office together. So we got in there, and then he looked at the dressing, everything, and then he went, so it is cancer, and it's present in the lymph node. And then there was just like this moment where I just zoned in, like all I could focus on was his face. And I've mentioned this in the podcast, that I just felt like if I looked at my partner, my mum, and my dad, we would like just crumble. So it was just listening and taking it in, and okay, what's the next step? Okay, surgery, how soon do you want to do that? Oh, you want to wait a month? What's as soon as I can do it? 2 weeks? We're going to do that. It was just like, just get it done. And then when I came out of the office, that's when I fell apart. It was like walking through the glass doors, and every time I come out of there now, I have the same body reaction. And I kept saying, I'm so sorry. Like I felt sorry that I was putting my family through that.
So what helped you get through all of that? So I think at this point what I'd like to bring up is a book called All Is Well by Louise Hay and Mona Lisa Schultz, which talks about healing your body with medicine, affirmations and intuition. And what I wanted to ask you, Emma, was obviously your intuition took you there.
Yeah.
Medicine helped you, but what affirmations actually helped you get through it and until today and now? What affirmations do you use?
Now it's not so clear. Like I think now is kind of actually sorting through the emotional debris of what happened, because the first like 6-12 weeks were all physical. So I was kind of like, okay, next hurdle, I just took it on. And I think something comes through you too to just deal with that. And then when I was kind of released from the system and then they're like, it's 12 months till we can really see if this has worked. You kind of release back into the wild, and that's when I had to start looking at, what do I make of this now? Where do I put this in my life? How much meaning do I give to it? Am I just unlucky? Because that's what some people say is just unlucky, just unlucky. But mum's had breast cancer twice. We don't have a history of cancer in our family, so what's going on? So that's the kind of stuff that I think came up. But the surgery, you mentioned Louise Hay, so Hay House publisher has Christiane Northrup on their books.
Which is an American gynaecologist who is all-inspiring and very wise woman.
Yeah.
Who's written quite a lot of books,
And she describes herself as being at the headwaters of that change in female health and looking at it differently. And she will as equally talk about the latest medical research and then what's going on with astrology and then her Argentine tango. So she's got like this combination of...
She's pretty cool.
Soul and medicine. So she's got a few books, and one of them, I think it was Women's Health, Women's Wisdom. And
There's a book about this thick, which I recommend everyone read. Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah. And she had a section on surgery. I actually printed out this piece and I took it into the hospital, and I said to one of the girls that was prepping me, I said, before you give me the anaesthetic and send me to sleep, could you please read this to me? And there was, following this operation, you will feel comfortable and you will heal very well. And then at the conclusion of the surgery, please say, your operation has gone very well. Following this operation, you will be hungry for, and then you can nominate a healthy food. You will be thirsty and you will urinate easily. Following this operation, your body will repair itself and new healthy cells are created throughout your body. And when I handed it to the nurse, she read it and I thought she was going to go, oh sure darling, and she went, this is great.
Yeah.
She goes, can I keep this? Can I use this? And I was like, sure.
Well, in fact, I think I might start using this for my routine operations from now on. I think that's pretty awesome.
And then following the surgeries, I had a month off work and it was time to reflect a lot. So what I found I would do, I didn't want to really speak to anyone. I needed to be alone. I needed to make sense of it all, put it all in order. And I need my body to be calm to heal. So I would spend a lot of time in like botanic gardens. I would go to churches when there wasn't a mass on, where I could just be, and it wasn't a religious thing, it was more just in a space that was dedicated for silence and reflection. I lit some candles,
Beautiful.
Put some good thoughts out there. But then I also came across this lady that I was just telling you about called Belruth Napastek. She's got a website with a collection of meditations called Health Journeys. And so she had meditations for all these sorts of different things. And the ones that really spoke to me were meditations for a successful surgery. So once I'd had the cancer diagnosis, I knew I was going back in 2 weeks for another surgery. So I listened to that every day. And you're visualizing, she takes you through where you visualize the surgeons taking good care of you, really doing their best work, your body healing, receiving the help, feeling supported. And that for me made a lot of sense. And then she also had some specifically for cancer treatment, so dealing with radiation. And meditation to help fight cancer, you visualize the white blood cells in your body, like targeting all the erroneous stuff, getting rid of it. And I think that, and she had some really cool things along with that you're supported and that now that this isn't about fighting something, it's about being well, which I think was also a difference, because it's easier to
knowing
fight.
that your body can actually heal itself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this, because I will definitely be directing patients to Belruth Napastek.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you've included in this list. She's got guided meditations to help with fertility, relaxation, wellness, relieving stress. Stress is the biggest issue that I see before anything to do with fertility and other issues there. So I think that's the thing that plagues people the most, stress. And sleep, super important. So to get more information about Bella Ruth's links or health journeys, there'll be some info on your website and then my website, so you'll have access to that. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no
Thank you
worries.
so much. Thank you for watching this episode of Dr. Tash TV. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share it with the rest of the world, and join me on Dr. Tash TV next time. Until then, be well.